Hey guys, MVC here for the Team Dignitas YouTube page, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at this thing behind me, the Alienware X51 R2, which is a small form factored gaming PC currently running Windows 8.1. And in this video I hope to show you what you can expect to get for your money at Alienware.com if you consider picking one up, and just what exactly the X51 and the R2 in that is all about. So what you're going to have is 1080p benchmarks in various games with the FPS displayed in the upper right, and then come back right at the end with my final thoughts and some of the additional things you can do with it as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you've got any questions or comments throughout, just leave them below as always. And if you do enjoy the content here on the Team Dignitas YouTube page, please make sure you subscribe, but for now, enjoy the video. So before we jump into gameplay with the Alienware X51 R2, let's have a quick look at what the chassis offers from both an internal and external perspective. So it's extremely ditty and weighs in a moderate 5.49 kilograms. It supports a mini ITX motherboard and has Alienware high performance air cooling for whatever processor you choose. Now you get some cool software bundle which is going to allow you to customize the colors from the LEDs on both side panels and the front icon, all three individually or together, and that's in the Alienware Command Center with Alienware FX. Now you will also get Alienware Fusion and Alienware Adrenaline, but in effect it's going to allow you to set up custom profiles for both the colors and also things like power saving and that good stuff. So moving forward to see what's inside our system, the processor is a 4th generation Intel i5-4430 processor, which is kind of interesting because that's lower than the one you can actually buy on the Alienware website today, which is the i5-4440. We've got 8GB of dual channel DDR3 memory running at 1600 MHz. The video card is a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 645 with 1GB of GDDR5 memory, one of the lower end NVIDIA ones, but again you can upgrade that if you want yourself or during the checkout process, and with that you can also upgrade to an SSD if you like, rather than the 1TB SATA drive we're using here for the review that runs at 7200 RPM with a 64 MB cache, and technically is one of the faster mechanical drives on the market. Now the optical drive is a dual layer Blu-ray reader and DVD rewriter / CD rewriter, and what I was kind of interested to find out is it comes with a wireless card inbuilt, so we didn't actually have to go and reroute another Ethernet cable, so that's useful. I've had no problems either, both streaming and downloading. It seems to be holding its own well in the short time I've used it. And finally, we got all the ports available on the front, back, and inside that you guys might be interested in. The only ones I should mention is the onboard HDMI 1.4 output is the iGPU HDMI located near the top of the unit. That's actually going to come in really useful later on, as we can use the iGPU for quick sync for no performance loss, video capture and streaming. And on top of that, also the graphics card inputs there. The DVI port is a dual link DVI, so you're going to be catered there for your high refresh rate gaming monitors, as well as the DisplayPort being 1.2, so you are catered for that also. But yeah, enough of that, let's jump into the gameplay. So for the game benchmarks, I was kind of sat there wondering what the best methodology to use was, and then it hit me, NVIDIA GeForce Experience, which is a free piece of software that you can download for your NVIDIA graphics card that will not only keep your drivers up to date, allow you to stream to NVIDIA Shield devices if it's a compatible graphics card, and automatically capture your gameplay with almost no performance hit, but will, if you allow it to, automatically optimize your game for a specific resolution, which in the case of these benchmarks is 1080p. And what this provides us with is a great platform for me and you guys at home to compare your optimization results at 1080p with mine, and then hopefully allow you to cement your decision as to whether you want to buy an Alienware X51 R2 yourself. Now for the games themselves, what I've decided to do, like I said, 1080p, and rather than record the minimum, maximum and average FPS values, instead I've recorded short segments of gameplay with the FPS displayed by fraps, recorded using a second PC and an AVerMedia capture card, so no performance hit whatsoever. So the FPS is what you should expect to get at home using this same identical X51 R2 that I have here. So what I'm going to do now is just leave you with the gameplay. If you want to skip any of the segments and go on to the next game, the button is in the lower right. Enjoy. So one of the first games we're benchmarking here today is Crysis 3. Now you can see some of the GeForce Experience settings in the background, but essentially this is one of the most demanding games on the PC platform from a company called Crytek. It's the third in the series, and it has a fantastic single player campaign. If you haven't played the first 3, make sure you do. It's definitely worth it. But again, if you want to skip at any point during the video, go ahead and click the skip to next benchmark button in the lower right.
The guys who tore the nanosuit from my flesh, the guys who are going to do the same to you, sell those guys. Oh, forget it.
Warning. Nanosuit disembarkation in progress.
Let's do this quietly. QRF team's on standby.
What's that? Warning. Threat level orange. Suit disembarkation in progress.
This is 5-2. Perimeter breach in second.
Reached Foxtrot 4. Burnout prepped and ready, over.
The fuck is that?
Nice one.
Moving up.
Critical threat. Sustained wind speeds exceeding operational limits.
Shit!
The next game is going to be Battlefield 4. We're getting all the big ones out the way, but again, the GeForce Experience optimization settings are in the background, but BF4 is developed by DICE and published by EA. It's one of the most anticipated games moving into 2014, particularly of those with premium subscription. Going to be releasing content throughout the year. So again, I hope you enjoy the video. If you want to skip to the next benchmark, just go ahead.
Anyone know if the storm is still building?
Who knows? It can settle in half an hour. This looks more like a tropical depression than a typhoon.
What's a typhoon?
You would call it a hurricane.
Storm or not, we gotta make this plan work. If the strike misses the target, a lot of people will suffer. Victor, straight ahead. There's a clear spot back east. Season, watch it.
This is Amber, closing in on your position. Ready to disembark. Watch out for friendly fire, Tombstone. Got your target.
So the next game I had to record was Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider. It's one of the best games on the PC platform, and it's the closest thing you'll ever get to playing Uncharted from PlayStation 3 on the PC. Of course, this is also available on the consoles, but you can obviously push the graphics further on an Alienware or PC system, so definitely want to recheck out if you've already played it. But the single player campaign is absolutely phenomenal, and you're getting good performance out of it here on the Alienware X51 R2 as well. But again, if you want to skip the video, just go ahead and click the button in the lower right. So the next game had to be Devil May Cry. Again, similar to Tomb Raider, you're probably going to be wanting to play this one with a pad, but again, a fantastic single player experience, just a pure hack and slash. The GeForce Experience settings, whilst limited, are there in the background, but great performance from the Alienware X51 R2. I'd already played through this on my primary PC a few months back, but I would definitely recommend doing it on an Alienware X51 R2. You're getting such high FPS, and just, it may be a little bit cheesy at times, but it's definitely one to check out. Again, skip to the next benchmark if you want. So I know some of you may prefer your Forza on Xbox, your Gran Turismo on PlayStation, or your Sim Racer on PC, maybe even Truck Simulator if you're into that. But for me, I like to kick back and relax with the pure rubber banding arcade racing games Need for Speed. Now, in my opinion, Criterion Games made the best Need for Speeds, and the last one they did was of course Most Wanted. The most recent one is Rivals from Ghost Games, but unfortunately that's locked to 30 FPS, and if you move them from console to PC, you're going to want to go above 30 where possible. So Most Wanted is the one to check out. It's a great experience to play through, and again, if you would like to go to the next benchmark, go ahead, but I've got to say, dipping down some of the settings and going with the optimization results from GeForce Experience provided a satisfactory gaming experience, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
Watch your approach. I'm going for pit. Over. Be on the lookout for a silver Bugatti. Copy that. We'll advise you further.
So with any system review, I kind of feel like TF2 has to be there. It is a game I played for several years, went to many tournaments, multiplayer iSeries, and won a few events as well. It's pretty much one of the most top played games on Steam to date, so yeah, I had to include this, and it's actually one of the games I would have preferred to set up manually myself, and in fact I would also always lower down the settings from whatever GeForce Experience recommended for this, simply because it's a game you just want to see in its most fluid. But with GeForce Experience, you'll be able to see the FPS in the upper left, and just bear in mind you can dip a lot of those things down and increase that value. But yeah, if you want to skip to the next video, go ahead. And finally, last but not least, we have Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And like TF2, is again very CPU based, and with that it increased a lot of the settings. I would recommend dipping some of those down after playing with GeForce Experience, but regardless, you can see the results there. I've included 3 maps, Dust 2, Nuke and Inferno, 3 of the most well played maps, so you can see the FPS you can expect to get with the GeForce Experience recommended settings. And again, if you'd like to skip ahead, not to the next benchmark, but to the quick sync live streaming demonstration, just go ahead and click the button at the lower right. So last but not least is a really cool, often unnoticed feature, and that is Quick Sync, and that uses your CPU, iGPU, your Intel graphics chip on there, to take all load off your CPU while streaming or capturing footage in supported programs such as OBS. So currently we've got about 230 to 240 FPS in Quake Live. What I'm going to do is start streaming at 1080p 60 FPS and a high bitrate to Twitch TV, and you're going to be able to see my FPS does not change whatsoever. It really is a great feature, but it is important to bear in mind that you are going to need to increase the bitrate just slightly to counteract the quality hit you do get from using the iGPU to encode rather than the CPU. So I found rather than using 2000 bitrate, you use 2500, rather than using 3000, use 3500, so on and so forth, and then you should get similar quality levels. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be higher quality to stream off your CPU. So a lot of people, rather than using a single PC and streaming, have a second system dedicated solely to doing the encoding. That way they don't have to use QuickSync, they don't have to use anything else. But QuickSync is a great alternative if you only have a single system, or if you don't have a dedicated capture card in a second, to streaming without that performance hit that often makes streaming such a painful thing to do, especially in the newer titles. So whatever Alienware system you get, definitely make sure you've got QuickSync support on your CPU. So a good i5 or i7, such as the ones including the Alienware systems, is going to be just fine. And this is pretty much what I stream with daily, even on my primary system. Hey guys, MVC here, and this is my final thoughts for the Alienware X51 R2 behind me. It's a fantastic piece of kit, no doubt about it, and Alienware should definitely be commended for the amount they managed to fit into that small form factor. You get a lot of performance for that size, and not only that, but it offers upgrade possibilities in the future. And one of the things I would consider upgrading from the get-go is the SSD, because having a standard mechanical drive after using an SSD for so long, you never really know how much you're going to miss the speed until it's gone. And there is a noticeable difference there, so if you do pick up an X51 or an Aurora on the next stage up, definitely consider either putting an SSD in on the buy page of Alienware.com or putting in your own afterwards, as you will love the speed increase. But is that X51 or an X51 in general necessarily for me? No, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because for me, in the room next to me, I play high-level competitive FPS for Team Dignitas, that's first-person shooters, so with that I need a high amount of frames per second to coincide with my high refresh rate gaming monitor, something that Alienware also sell, a 120Hz screen. So with that, I have two graphics cards at times, a sound card, a capture card, multiple hard drives in multiple USBs, two webcams, a mouse, keyboard, I've got USB condenser, microphone. All of this isn't necessarily all going to fit in the X51. It's not designed to do that. That's why Alienware also sell the Aurora, the full-size desktop machine. But what this does provide is a great entry into the PC gaming market in a small form factor that's going to be non-obtrusive, particularly if you may be a console player progressing over to the PC, wants to learn about it and also upgrade in the future. You're going to be able to do it with this. But for me, I'm going to be gearing more toward the Aurora to use day to day. But that's not necessarily to say I couldn't ever find a use for an X51. It could provide a great second system or a system in the lounge downstairs. On top of that, as a second system, I could connect an external USB capture card, such as a Hauppauge, AverMedia, Blackmagic, whatever it happens to be, and then capture 1080p at whatever frames per second with no performance hit whatsoever on my primary system. And that's what a lot of people do on Twitch and whatever streaming service it happens to be, YouTube moving forward. It is a great idea to have a second system for streaming, and that X51 could actually be the perfect solution for me. But yeah, I guess I never really thought that it could be. But yeah, I guess really when it comes down to it, you have to think about what your needs are. Because for me, my primary needs, if I had to pick one, would be the Aurora. I'd force myself to stretch the budget to that because I need the space and I need the upgrade possibilities, particularly when I review things as well. I just don't like to be limited. So if a new product comes out and suddenly I have the money to maybe upgrade to it, I don't want to be limited to the fact that my PC case is too small. But for some people, this size is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I mean, you saw the performance for yourself. We have the frame counter in the upper right. You can make up your own mind if you're getting the performance you want for the money you're paying on the Alienware X51. Is it suitable for you? You can decide that. Is it suitable for me? Like I said, as a primary system, no, but as a secondary, certainly. But yeah, I've been MVC here for the Team Dignitas YouTube page. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions or comments, do leave them below. One of us will get back to you. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed the content. Don't forget to subscribe for more moving forward here in 2014. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.